we're all here to learn as much as we can about what we call meditation. Can you hear right at that? All sorts of things are nowadays being called meditation, and meditation is in the air all around the world. In 1960, we got to know the Maharishi very well, and were trained by him in this system of meditation. And everything he said and did to us was absolutely right. He had this worldwide mission, and he wanted to take over the school, and he wanted me to go around England and Europe and talk to the general public and take part in the general pushing of meditation, which I didn't feel I could do. And we had a job to do in school, so we had to go separately. But there's absolutely no ill feeling towards the Maharishi. In fact, a great gratitude, because he introduced me to the head of his tradition. One time I was out at his ashram, and he couldn't have given us anything better. Come and sit up in front. I can't go much into the history of the system of meditation. It's all written in a small book. But we have so much to talk about that I can only say that just before and during World War II, the high-ups of yoga and other systems in India got together to try and find a simple system compatible with Western life, which would replace the very arduous eightfold path of yoga, which was a full-time job requiring celibacy and giving up one's life. And they managed to produce this system of meditation, which requires only 2.5 hours a day. And with that we've been practicing during this 12 or 13 years, under the constant guidance of the head of his tradition. The tradition is called the Acharya tradition of non-dualism, and is an offshoot of Raja Yoga, the king of the yogas. There are many ways of yoga or union with the divine self, which is in all of us. It's always been the crying need of everybody in humanity, and always been the need, even when people didn't recognize it as the ultimate objective. Its chief characteristic is that it gives a complete rest to the mind, which is very much overtaxed today. I speak of the very delicate part of the mind which humanity has, but no subhuman species is equipped with. It's called antikarana, or cell, inner organ, and it contains various elements of mind and the feeling of I, the feeling of individuality. And in the ordinary way, this part, delicate part of it, is in constant operation all day and all night. And one of the causes of all the unrest and the mental trouble, which is so rife today, is overtaxing this mind. So anything which goes by the name of meditation, but which consists in thinking about anything, is out from the point of view of this tradition. When I took out with me the head of the School of Meditation, who you must have heard of in London and seen their advertisement, which was founded jointly by the School of Economic Science and by us. When I first took him out to meet the Shankaracharya, and he was asking about meditation, the Shankaracharya instructed him that your job is to enable people to rest, and to do that, to encourage them to give up everything else for 2.5 hours a day. The question of what we should give up during a spell of meditation is very important, and this is the least easy thing to understand. What you're doing, trying to do in meditation, is to get, first of all, to complete silence, complete peace. Because only in the silence do we hear the voice of the Atman, the divine self, which is in everybody born into the world. And this divine self is always magnanimous, always has a good influence. Any bad things you see about are due to separation of the individual from that divine self. And so, we try to give up successively, we let drop away, we relinquish, during a half hour, everything which could get in the way of unity between the meditator and this Atman, the self. People are surprised when they first try to do the meditation by the absolute chaos they see when they shut their eyes in their inner life. So many different voices speaking to them, so very much going on. In the ordinary way, we don't notice it. We carry an immense burden around, but during a half hour we can learn to drop it all. And success in this meditation consists in how much a person honestly and sincerely gives up. And it's a lovely feeling. There's no feeling of discipline about it at all. To begin with, we give up everything that we ordinarily know as thinking, because the thinking that goes on all the time is not thinking at all. It's simply the moving center activity, which is like a squirrel running around in a cage, so that our minds go on incessantly commenting on this and that, approving of this, disapproving of that, and this is extremely tiring. and is the main cloud of Maya, or the cloud of unknowing, which separates us from the guidance of this earth, which is being offered all the time, and which could make a whole difference to our lives. I'm sure you all know instinctively that this is true, but I'd like to hear if there's anything anybody wants to say or ask about it. But I'm taking it you all know the truth. And one of the things nowadays, in the present climate, and particularly the day after mini-budget and things like this, is worry. Worry is the human occupational disease of the day. And to show you that it's all around the world, a cutting reached us from South Africa, which started in New York. In New York, this cutting from South African newspaper said, a businessman organized the Wednesday Worry Club. And the rules were that you could only worry on Wednesday afternoon at 4 p.m. Every time a member had a worry, he was to write it down on a slip of paper and place it in the worry box. When 4 p.m. on Wednesday came round, the members examined the worries and found that 90% of them had either not happened or had solved themselves. So they were all dumped in the waste paper basket. What did they do with the remaining 10%? Well, they put them back into the box to be worried about in the next Wednesday at 4 p.m. But they still existed by then. We do better than that. We put aside 2 periods in the day, before and after work, when worry is absolutely forbidden. We lay aside all our worries and come to the causal level, the soul or inner organ, where no worries exist. For there, the light of the self is always shining. Any questions about that? Anybody here not worried? I'm sure even you worry, don't you, about school and this sort of thing? It's quite useless. It doesn't help. If there is a problem, it's much better to lay it before the all-knowing self who is there and knows it already, and wait for a solution of the problem which will be much, much better than anything we'll get by worrying about it. So if you want to find the quickest and easiest way of learning to eliminate these useless functions of the mind, try the meditation. It doesn't commit you to anything. The worst that can happen is that you'll drop it and remain just as happy as you're looking now. But if you do it, and really give up genuinely, you will find a kind of happiness which is everlasting and never ceases, is always there underneath. Because there are 3 characteristics of this divine self. There is eternal being, always present and always the same, and that is called in this Sat, being. There is pure consciousness. It knows things all at once, and that is Chit. And there is a happiness which never ceases, and Ananda. is pure emotion and contains the element of love. And so you can recognize the influence of the self during and after meditation by any two of these three characteristics. Any questions about it? I don't like to kind of come into the rapport, as they say, because I don't know if I'm talking absolute rot from your point of view, or whether there's something you would like me to go on to, something you're interested in, to do with meditation. Come along up nearer, won't you? How do we get them to talk? You know, with the secretary, you can come and have an audience with him, and you haven't got a question to ask, nothing happens at all. He's quite happy to sit. Good, it's a question.
The question is, do I understand that the meditation will be the same for all, or will it be such that there's a particular meditation for each person?
The general method of meditation is the same for all, but it's an absolutely individual thing. The giving of the meditation and the instructions received should be entirely individual. It's a very personal thing. People are so different, and there are many, many different possibilities contained in this system of meditation, and individuals realize quite different possibilities. And therefore there is no such thing as a good meditation. You hear people saying, I'm a bad meditator, or something like this. In fact, anything which conduces to rest and peace of mind and quiet will be a good meditation, however you do it, however you achieve it. Any other questions?
The question is, what is meditation for?
Meditation is a natural need of humanity, and has always been a natural need all through its history and prehistory. And first, it's to unite the individual during his active life with his Creator. This is the object of living. One's life is one's battlefield or probation ground, with the idea of listening to and carrying out the instructions of this all-knowing Creator, the Self. In the course of that, the object of meditation is to give up useless functions which destroy our happiness and give us a number of unexpected blessings which are unforetellable. Chiefly, it gives you far more of the precious energy which is needed for creative work of all kinds, and which is wasted mostly. You can't put in a word the object of meditation, because it has to connect with what each person really wants. We all of us want something. We want to make many things, but we want some things more than others. In a talk the Secretary gave later, all living beings seem to be crying out for something or other. Among mankind, some pray for wealth, some for health, some for property, some for fame, some for power, some for freedom from troubles, some just for food and the basic necessities of life. Moreover, everyone wants these things to be given in full measure and on a permanent basis. They won't be content with anything less. If we study the revealed writings of fully realized men who realized their possibilities and achieved union with this divine truth, it would seem that really everybody is wanting the universal self, the self that lives in the heart of all, and which is the source of all good things. Because it's only that pure consciousness which is completely full and whose fullness can never cease, never decrease. There are all the things we think we want, and when we get them, we find we want something else immediately after. He told a story at that talk about the all-powerful Mughal Emperor Akbar, who, while out hunting, once had to spend the night in the jungle. Unable to sleep, owing to the noise made by the jackals, he asked why they were crying. Someone said that it was on account of the cold, so Akbar ordered blankets to be distributed to the jackals. But still, they went on crying. When Akbar again asked the reason, he was told that this time it was because of their joy of getting the blanket. In this way, he commented, peace and quiet never come to us. We always go on crying for something. And the only remedy is to make this feeling of I into a universal feeling above the petty, changing self. And you do that by 2 half hours a day until it becomes part of your nature, and then you do it the rest of the time. This idea of the Paramatma may not be familiar to you. It's defined as follows. Each of us has within us an ever-present and all-knowing self, or Atma. And this universal self is the self of all beings in the universe, living or non-living, conceivable or inconceivable. And this tradition of meditation is the tradition of non-dualism, and says that the two are the same, the two have the same nature. The Atman is in the dark and is looking into all the problems and ignorance which is going on inside of us. And self-realization is when the Atman is able to look up out of all that and realize the magnificence of the Paramatma, which is of the same nature as itself. In the Upanishads, you hear the simile, there are 2 birds of identical plumage who inhabit the same tree. One of them pecks at the sweet fruit, and the other looks on, not eating. The self looking at the fruit, is worried by the ignorance with which it is surrounded, and unhappy. But as soon as he looks up at this magnificent bird, the other bird on the tree, and realizes that it's of the same nature, all unhappiness ceases. It's a very difficult thing to define in words, but I think all of us have experienced moments of this in the past. In the Upanishads too, in one of them, the question is put, who is that self, devoid of self, that self that lives in the hearts of all? The answer, your own self lives in the hearts of all. Nothing else matters. This is the great discovery that you can get, if you haven't got it already, can get to 2.5 hours of meditation and giving up all personal psychology.
The question is, if one meditates for 2.5 hours a day, is it possible to reduce the amount of sleep that one normally needs?
This varies in different people. In general, I would say yes. For the most part, the 4 hours of deep sleep, deep and dreamless sleep, and some hours, a varying time, of sleep with dreams. Because the dreams fulfill a function. They release a lot of built-up tensions in the mind. But this is a very individual thing and varies greatly in different people at different times. People find that if they don't try and meditate just before going to sleep, that they have much more restful sleep and wake much more refreshed and may need less. But I'm afraid I'm not of the opinion that one ought to compel everybody to have less sleep. I'm sorry, I have to differ. Do you find, any of you, that you waste a bit of time trying to get to sleep? Anybody there put up their hand? I only mention it because the realized man, I know it for a fact, the Shankaracharya, when he sleeps, he sleeps. He puts his head on the pillow and he's deep asleep at once. And when he wakes up, he's wide awake at once. And he says that this is due to meditation. And I think we'd all quite like that, and we might be able to give up some of those sleeping pills. Well, other things that you want to know. You know that there is a saying there of initiation that precedes the giving of this technique of meditation. Our wish of that is simply that when empowered to give the meditation, we promise to give it in the traditional way, which has gone on for 6,000 years and not alter anything. But I find this ceremony, and a lot of people do, very refreshing. It's meant to enable the instructions to go straight to the causal level. It's meant to let the office, drop away, or the usual thoughts of mental burden, drop away. So that the instructions go straight to the place where there are no problems. And you will have the translation of the ceremony, which is given in Sanskrit, to read whenever you like, after you've had it. Why we don't want to tell you the details of the technique is that we don't want any form of self-suggestion or self-hypnotism. We want it to come quite fresh to a given person without any preconceived notions and without any promises whatsoever, which we're ready for the limitation and to the unforeseen things they might be going to get. So just come with an open mind, try and let the ceremony go straight to the real you, and you find that you can slip right into it very early on in the course of the first 2 or 3 minutes. Any other questions about that sort of thing? The question was, will the significance of the 4 gifts be explained to us at the ceremony, or can you explain them now? Oh, I can tell you now, yes. The gist of the ceremony is that we invite the leaders of this great tradition, one of whom wrote the Bhagavad Gita, and there are many others, the Buddha Gautama, and many other realized people. We invite them to be present in spirit, so that meditation will